Hello, everyone. Welcome to Small Biz Tips. Guys, I'm excited. I met this gentleman on LinkedIn. As you see, I have a lot of success meeting amazing, successful people on LinkedIn. So I spoke to him over the phone. I love what he got going on. And I'm like, I got to bring this guy in. He got to talk to you guys. So, Damon, what's up, man?
How you doing, man? Thank you for having me today.
Thanks for coming in. I really appreciate that, brother. So, to get the ball rolling, what I like to do is you tell the people who is Damon.
Great. Well, my name's Damon Lembi. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area in a town called Sausalito, and I'm the CEO of Learnit, which is a corporate training company, all B2B, and we work with customers to upskill managers and individual contributors and everything from how to be a new manager or how to even use Microsoft Excel.
Nice.
And I recently, as you could kind of see behind me, I wrote and published a book that was released April 18th. Thank you. Called The Learn It All Leader: Mindset, Tools, and Traits. So that's me in a nutshell.
Ooh, I like that. So let's go back a little bit, right? San Francisco, talking about Silicon Valley, and you live right outside in a beautiful little town. I've heard of that town. So that's pretty awesome. How'd you get started, right? Because you didn't start in San Francisco, did you?
No. So how I got started at Learnit is growing up, my dream was to be a professional baseball player. And I played all the sports through high school. I was fortunate enough after my senior year in high school to get drafted by the Atlanta Braves.
Nice.
And I had a choice. Do I want to go to college or do I want to play minor league baseball? I decided to go to Pepperdine, and that didn't work out, but I ended up transitioning over to Arizona State. And I was still had a great career there, and I was hoping to be a professional baseball player after my college career. Turned out that didn't work out. So here I was after spending 22 years of my life figuring out what am I going to do next, and with no real work skills. And I was fortunate to come from a family that had multiple businesses, including real estate and hotels. And one of the businesses that was just starting off was Learnit, which my dad started. And and that was June of 1995. And I started off as the receptionist there. And here we are. I mean, June 5th will be our 28th anniversary. So I guess Monday. So it's great to be talking to you today about it.
Congratulations.
Crazy.
That is crazy because you think about it, right? You had no, that wasn't part of another plan because you wanted to be a baseball player. And then you end up starting as a receptionist in a company, and now you run it 20 plus years later. I'm curious, 28 years. A lot of business don't even last 3. What's that secret sauce to you guys' success, man?
I would say, first and foremost, never in my wildest dreams did I think I would be in corporate training. You know, like we said, I just put all my eggs in one basket for sports. That didn't work out, and then I had a pivot and transition. And what I would say our secret sauce is for success is that I believe a leader is only as good really as the people they surround themselves with. And I've been incredibly fortunate and grateful to have been able to hire and retain phenomenal talent over the years.
I want to get into that.
And it takes as you small business owners know out there, it takes a lot of courage and resilience, I think, too. Running a small business is hard. Everything from managing people. We have about 50 to 60 full employees, part-time and full-time. And, there's been plenty of those nights over the years where you're trying to figure out how you're going to make payroll next week.
Yes.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah, let's talk about that because you got to think about it, right? A lot of people may see entrepreneurship as being sexy, right? Now it's the sexiest thing. Oh, I want an entrepreneur, but they don't understand what it takes to actually run business. Those sleepless nights thinking about, okay, how I'm gonna pay payroll for these people. We didn't get enough sales. Now I'm curious, throughout your journey, because been in business for a long time, what was that process like? How did you keep to have that positive mindset? Because there's the good and there's like the bad.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. We've been through pretty much at least 3 recessions. The first one was the dot-com boom and bust.
Yeah.
And then there was the Great Recession of 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
And then again, at the beginning of the pandemic was really, really scary. And we may be heading in, quite honestly, as we all know, into another one
Another
coming
one.
up.
Yeah.
So what really is we've been able to do is really learn through how we did things differently. The first time back in 2001, I was really fortunate that I had family support, where if I had to, at that time, I had to borrow money to cover payroll.
Yeah.
And it was really tough turning to my dad and grandfather asking for that. But we got through it, was able to pay them back. And then we learned for the future when things started to turn in 2008, we made some tough decisions hiring. I mean, excuse me, we looked at what happened before, and we had to make layoffs. And instead of doing it Band-Aid, one person here, one person there,
Yeah.
we figured out what's it going to take to ride through the storm. And we made those tough decisions. We let go about 25% of our staff.
Wow.
I handled it, individually.
Yeah.
It was incredibly hard, but then turned to the rest of the team and said, hey, I'm confident we made the decision. We made the tough choices. We had to. We're going to be fine. We put ourselves in a position to be fine moving forward. And that was a big one. And also for you business owners out there, please be smart with your accounts receivable. Got burnt in the first one, extending credit. People owed us money, and then companies went out of business or didn't pay. That was another way we made through it. The next time was we just realized that we couldn't let accounts receivables get out of hand.
That is a big gem. A lot of us don't think about that, but when situation like this happen, we don't have control over it. So being a great leader, as you were, and be able to really help them navigate the storm by thinking ahead, right? So which takes me to my next question to you is the book that you have, right? The book around Learn It All Leader. Like, how did that come about? Like, what made you say, you know what, I need to write this book?
So what really inspired me to write the book was, I feel like, one, I've been at this for 28 plus years, 26 years when I started. And I feel like I've got a lot of great stories to share, successes and failures. And, honestly, I really like to share and give back. And I'm hoping that others can learn from some of these stories and that I've had. And a lot of it is around having the mindset of being a continuous learner and being open with a beginner's mind, and how to overcome things like imposter syndrome. And that was the main reason. The second reason is that I wrote it also for my kids. I got 2 young ones. I got a 5 and a 1-year-old. And my father, who started Learnit, passed away about 10 years ago. And they never had a chance to meet him. And so this is an opportunity for them to learn about what a great leader he was and how he's had an impact on thousands of individuals. I mean, we've probably trained in all the different channels over 1 million people over the 28 years. So yeah, those are the main reasons for writing the book.
No, I love it. And I'm curious, right? You mentioned something about imposter syndrome. A lot of entrepreneurs who's either coming into success or got very successful very quickly sometimes go through that process of imposter syndrome. What is maybe that one, you don't got to give us the whole book because I want people to go and read this. What is that maybe one quick tip you can share that can help people when it comes to overcoming the imposter syndrome?
First of all, realize that everybody goes through it. Everybody has imposter syndrome at some point in their career. And I would identify what the fear is, that you're worried about. And I would say the one tip I would give is to, really focus on what it is and work hard. Work
Mm,
hard. Work through it. Get repetitions in. For
yeah,
instance, if you're in sales and you're
yeah.
afraid to make calls, sit down and make the calls. It's get out of your comfort zone and make the calls that you need to do. And the other thing I would say, is work hard, really focusing on what you're worried about or feel like you don't belong with, and then don't don't take yourself too seriously and learn
Mm.
learn through the process. At the end of the day, those are really what I would say to do as far as imposter syndrome.
I love it. I love it. Definitely I think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with. Which takes me to my next question, right? You guys had an organization with 50, 60 people, and you said you had to hire right. How do you go about hiring the right people? Because that's something a lot of people struggle with. What's your process when it comes to hiring?
I think hiring great talent is very difficult, very
Mm,
difficult, and there is definitely some trial and error that goes along with it. But we use, and I talk about this in my book, but it's a 3F formula. One is, find great people, figure out their strengths, and focus on those strengths. But the beginning part,
yeah.
to find great people, I think that recruiting should never end. So it should be an ongoing process. Even if you don't have open positions, you
Yeah.
should continuously be out there networking with people, getting to meet people. And then if you come across somebody who's phenomenal, you
Mm-hmm.
should figure out how to carve out budget to bring them on board. Because if you just wait till having vacancies in
Yeah.
positions, then you're kind of reactive. And it might sound harsh, but sometimes it's also, I guess there's a term out there that I really like. It's called top grading, where sometimes if you have people in a role and they're not living up or not the caliber of the type of people that you think is going to take your organization to the next level, it's hard, but sometimes you have to replace them with better talent. One area that Learnit's been really strong at is internal referrals.
Hmm.
And those are either people who work for Learnit or part of the Learnit community,
Uh-huh.
alumni. And I say this because these people are all familiar with Learnit, what our core values are, and what type of person succeeds at Learnit.
Yeah.
So these internal referrals, typically people aren't going to refer people to come work at Learnit unless they feel like it would be a good fit for our culture. So
Wow. That's the
that's our
gem.
secret sauce, I think, when it comes to finding great talent.
Wow, I love it because you think about it, good people know good people. So
Mhm.
we don't think about that, but you're absolutely right. Being able to have an internal referral system save you a lot of time and able to build a stronger pipeline of people, which takes me to my next question, right? There's a difference when it comes to leading an organization with 5 people, 10 people, 50 people. When you guys were growing, right, throughout the 20 years, what was the difference when you were leading an organization with just 5 people to now leading an organization with 50 people?
The biggest difference is the need for processes,
Okay.
clear communication, and being able to trust the team members that you have. Because as a small business owner,
Yeah.
you're when you have 5 people on your team, you can pretty much jump in and do anything,
Yeah.
and 5, 10 people. But when you have 30, 40, 50, 100, you need to have great people, and you need to be able to trust them to do the work.
Mhm.
You can't, I call it the hero syndrome. Hero syndrome is you bring somebody in, you give them a job, and then you jump in and you do the work for them. You're never going to be able to scale and grow that way. So you need to be able to trust. You need to be able to create a clear vision
Mm.
and for the roles and responsibilities, and then trust your team members that they're able to do the work. And realize they will make mistakes.
Mm.
And sometimes it's good to even celebrate those mistakes as learning opportunities.
Okay.
Because if you're hiring people to do this work and they don't feel the psychological safety of being able to make mistakes, or that they'll get in trouble, and they're just on a railroad track,
Yeah.
you're never going to grow and evolve. You need people to want to go out and take chances and make mistakes and learn from them and develop and grow. So to me, that's the biggest difference. And it's also, it really motivates your team members to feel like they have some autonomy in what they're doing.
Wow. I've never heard that before. Celebrating the mistakes that people do. How did you guys celebrate some of the mistakes that some of your people did in the beginning?
Well, and celebrating mistakes, maybe that's going a little too far, but it's just like them not being afraid to admit they made the mistakes and kind of laughing about it and joking about it.
Gotcha.
I'll give you an example. A very recent example is that our media team, it was actually an event that we did, and a situation came up where it was all recorded, and then the recording didn't go well, and just from a technical standpoint.
Yeah.
And it was a big event, and the gentleman on our media team reached out to me and said, "Hey, you know what, Damon? I messed up. It was my mistake. You know what? And I'm going to find a way to fix it." Now, if it was an environment where I was a CEO or a manager leader, and they felt like they couldn't come to me and share the mistakes they made, that they might say, "Oh, it was not my fault. It was somebody else's fault." But I was happy that they felt comfortable enough to be able to come to me and say, "Hey, I'm owning this."
Yeah.
And which I super appreciated. And you know what? They found a workaround solution. And so maybe it wasn't celebrating a mistake. It was celebrating how we were able to overcome the mistake that happened.
And I love the fact that they took responsibility, because that's a big reflection on the overall organization, right? Somebody that, hey, I screwed up, but able to recognize that they're screwed up and willing to share it with you. I think that's huge. Which takes me to my next questions, right? In the book, if somebody wants to get the book, where can they get it? Because I think this is a book that every entrepreneurship should, every entrepreneur should be reading this.
Well, thank you. You can get it. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. All the regular places. And if you watch this show and you buy it, send me the receipt, and I'll send you a free Learnit class.
Guys, you hear that?
Doing it, yeah, absolutely. That's something I'd be more than happy to do.
No, I love it. That's fantastic. So to kind of wrap things up, right? What is that small biz tips you would share with any entrepreneurs who's growing their business, taking it to the next level? Now they have an organization, they want to, build out a team. What was that tip you would share with them to help them?
If I had to boil it down to one tip, it would be lead by example in your organization. As a small business owner, as we discussed in the beginning, a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs and business owners. Well, you gotta walk the walk. It's not just talking, it's doing. Lead by example. Roll up your sleeves and don't be afraid to lead from the front and show your team that you're in it with them. So that's really important. And stay positive, and don't worry about the imposter syndrome. You can do it. That's one of the reasons why I wrote this book. Somebody like me with no work skills going into it, I was able to accomplish what we've been able to with the support. And if I can do it, you can do it too, if you put in the hard work and stay positive.
That's amazing. How do people get in touch with you, man?
I say, if you want to get in touch with me, Damon Lembi on LinkedIn is probably the best. Cool. And you could also reach out through Learnit, or find me on, my company is learnit.com. And so you'll see all the classes we do, and you could reach out through the customer forum there, or, find me on Twitter, but LinkedIn's probably the best.
Fantastic. Guys, check out the book, Learn It All Leader. reach out to Damon. He is amazing, as you can see. And thank you again for jumping on. I really appreciate this. Have a good one.
Thank you for all you do and keep up the good work.
Thank you.